like to do, but sleeping in is still always, yeah. All right. Notice 1-3. Is everybody with me? Notice 1-3. Okay, we're going to start out, listen. Ready? We're going to start out with arithmetic sequence. That means you're going to have a common difference in your sequence. And then we're going to move to geometric sequence, which means you have a common ratio. That means when you divide them, it's the same ratio. So we're starting with arithmetic sequence, and you have this formula to find the nth term. So if you want to write nth term, that's what an means. So to find the nth term, you take your first term plus your common difference. Remember, D is common difference. You just subtract. D is like A2 minus A1, which should be the same as A3 minus A2. Yeah, you just subtract the numbers. Like right here, for number 1, what would be our common difference? Nope, subtract it. Subtract. And then in the formula, you take that common difference and multiply it by whatever term you're doing. Like if you're doing the 10th term, you do the D times 9. So it's n, your nth term minus 1. So you have to memorize this formula. So D is your common difference, n is the number of term it is. Like if it's the 10th term, n is 10. Yes. Let's be on a quick one. A1 is just your first term, yep. You want to write first term? You can write first term. Uh-huh. You follow? Oh, got it. Is N11 to N13? Yes. Yes. You can do it. You're going to all pray for a snow day tomorrow or winter storm day, and then we'll do it Monday. Yeah, you learned it when you went over. Let's do it. Hold on. All right, ready? So let's do the first one. Find the common difference. We did that, and then write the formula. So our formula is AN equals A1. What's A1? 2. First term. Minus 5, because our D is a negative 5, so just put minus 5, times n minus 1. And we don't know n, so that's just a formula. There's your formula. So this isn't on here, but what if I said find A25?
Put 25 on the end?
Yep, you'd put 25 on the end.
So it will be A25 equals 2 minus 5 and 20 times 25 minus 1?
Times 25 minus 1, which is what? 24.
All we're doing is finding equations, right?
Yeah, and that one I just said find the formula, but here I said find A25. What do you get, Timothy?
Negative 186. So for like number 2, it's just find the 36. We find the 36.
So number 2 says find A36. The 36th term would be A36. So A36 will equal good. Our common difference, negative 6. 4 minus 10, or negative 2 minus 4. So minus 6 times what goes in the parentheses? 36 minus 1, which is 35. You can write the 36 minus 1 if you want to write all the stuff.
So it's going to be 10 minus.
So do I do 4 times 35?
No, you always do parentheses, right?
Always do your multiplication or parentheses first. You multiply before you subtract, right?
We A is a 36. So negative 6.
That's your answer. All right, what about number 3? What if they give you 2 terms? What can we do? I'm going to show you algebraically. I know there's a couple of you in here that could probably look at this, or probably 4 or 5 of you in here that can look at this, and you can just think it through and do it with a little trick. But when you get to the geometric sequence, in 3rd period, they couldn't find the little trick. They found the little trick, a shortcut to this one. But I'm going to show you algebraically because that's how I'm supposed to show you, all right? But if you find the little trick, you can share it. But I'm not going to tell you the little trick. I'll tell you the trick at the end. All right, so I know that A4 equals A1. We don't know A1 plus D. We don't know D. But we know that N minus 1 will be what? Will be 3. There you go. Hold on, Timothy. You got to hold your trick. This is N minus 1. And N is 4. We're not talking about the trick yet. So you get 20 equals A1, because A4 is 20, right? 20 equals A1 plus 3D. Does everybody understand where the 3 came from? Our N is 4. 4 minus 1. It's your N, this N right here, minus 1 goes here. Okay, and then we know that A13 is A1 plus D times what? 12. Everybody understand where the 12 comes from? N minus 1.
Oh, hold on. So 20, so you combine those.
I just plugged 20 in right here, really. And then I switched these around and wrote 3D because it looks more normal. And then A13 is 65. If I have 2 equations with 2 unknowns, what can I do? Sure, solve for one, plug it into the other. I don't do it. One variable will go away once you plug it in. Or you can do elimination. I do elimination because I see when I subtract this one from this one, the A1s will go away. Can you see that? So if you make all these negative, so I'm just subtracting this from this. When I get negative 45 equals negative 90. That's solving, that's what that is. That's solving systems by using the method of elimination. But if you like to use substitution, that also works. A lot of you, I actually sometimes also prefer to do substitution. Substitution is almost easier to remember. Yeah, where you go, okay, A1 equals, I'm going to tell you, hold on. Let me finish my explanation, hold on. So you can subtract 3D to both sides, and then take 20 minus 3D and plug it into your second equation, and then solve it. To me, that's a lot more work than just subtracting them. Subtracting it is just easier. Yeah, I'm not done. Okay, so we had a question. The question was, where's the negative 45? Remember, I'm just subtracting the second equation from the first equation because I looked at it. Listen. I looked at it and saw that if I subtracted them, the A1s will eliminate. That's why it's called elimination. So now finish it. What's D? I just divide by negative 9, right? So D is 5. What's wrong? Oh, that's your formula up above. Don't give Alex a hard time. Poor guy. It's that formula right there. I'm just using that formula. I use the formula here. And then I subtracted using the elimination. I'm eliminating the A1. And then I get this to solve for D. Now, how can I find A1? Plug it into one of your equations. We can plug it into the first one. 20 equals A1. We don't know. plus 3 times 5. No, we're not finished. So A1 equals what? And Moses asked, did we finish this? Well, did we finish what they asked me to do? Did we find A20 yet? No, we found A1. We found D. Once we know A1 and D, can we find A20? Now you plug it in your formula. So this is my A1. This is my D. There's my formula. I'm just plugging in the formula. Now the A20 is already by itself. Depends on which where you're at. If you're up here, we were trying to get the A1 by itself. Yes. What do you do? Okay. Good. She subtracted the difference between the two. 65 minus 20 is 45. And then if you don't count the first term, there's 9 terms. There's 9 more terms after the first term. So if I have 45 numbers and I have to divide it by 9 terms, what's 45 divided by 9? That's your difference. So you can just take this minus this divided by this minus that, and it works. But it won't work with geometric. It only works with arithmetic. Divided by what? Like divided by 4? Divided by 4, and does it work? What does that work? Does that work every time? I don't know either. I know. I don't want to say it if it doesn't work every time, but try it in your homework and tell me if it works every time. Clever. Good job. I don't find sure. I think so algebraically now that I do everything algebraically. I don't even think look for shortcuts. I don't know why. All right, next page. Next page. Thank you. D.
So first of all, you look for your D and you plug it.
Then you plug it into one of those. Find your A1. Once you have your A1 and your D, you can plug it into your formula to find your A20. Because A1 is 5, D is 5, and N is 20. Got it? All right, next one. So this says you have, this means terms. Write yourself a note that when you see the word arithmetic means, it just means terms. So if we have 9, and it says insert 3, that's a 9, not an A. Insert 3 arithmetic means. We have that A1 is what? What's A1? 9. And then 29 is A what? A to A what? How many terms are there if I insert 3? Somebody said it. 5. Right? If I have the beginning and the end and I insert 3, I have 5. Are you with me? If we have the beginning and the end and I insert 3, then we have 5. So now how can we find the 3 in the middle? You can use the formula, right? You can write A5 equals A1 plus D, we don't know, times N minus 1. What's N minus 1? N is 5, so it would be 4, right? This is N minus 1, which is 5 minus 1. This is A5. 29 is A5. So now I can just solve it. Minus 9 to both sides, divide by 4. Right, just solve that equation.
So then,
D equals 5. Oh no, I'm talking about 9. I'm just solving it for D. I'm getting D by itself. Yeah.
like whatever, like for example, that was like 6 would be A minus 1 would be
5.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That number right there. Mm-hmm. The other way you could do it is, again, that little shortcut thing that Nori shared with us, and I think Tim figured it out too. You could take 29 minus 9, which is 20, and divide it by how many terms are there after the first term? 4. Which is your A5 minus A1. 5 minus 1 is 4. You take 20 divided by 4 is 5. The shortcut works there too. All right, and then if I just, if my common difference is 5, what's my next term? It will always work with arithmetic sequences. It will not always work with geometric. Because we're about to change the geometric sequence and look at formula. Now it's a ratio versus a difference. They didn't find one. I don't find shortcuts. Usually students find shortcuts and tell me. I'm like, oh, great. Because I just think algebraically because I've done algebra for so long and taught it for so long. I do everything algebraically. My Algebra 1 students are really good thinkers. Like, they're bad at algebra. Usually people who are bad at algebra sometimes are really good math thinkers. They can think through it, like, weirdly. They have to explain it to me. I'm like, what? It's not this. It's just long. All right. So now you have another one memorized. This one. And then R, remember, is the common ratio by taking A3 divided by A2 or A2 divided by A1. Just take a term and divide it by the previous term. That's what R is. And A1, of course, is the first term again. So here, what's R in number 5? 6 divided by 3 or 12 divided by 6? Which thing? R, that's the formula. You take it, the third term divided by the second term or the second term divided by the first term. That's from notes 1-2 the other day. Okay, so here R is 2. So let's write our formula. You get AN. We're just writing a formula for AN. Ratio. Ratio. He's trying to make sure he has it all straight. And then what's A1? Times 2 to the n minus. Can I just change it to 6 to the n minus 1? You have to do the exponent first. So you just have to leave it like that. Because if this was 2 to the, as we're looking for the fourth term, this would be 2 cubed is 8 times 3. 24, right? If this was A4, it would be 2 cubed. That's 4 minus 1. 3. 2 cubed means 2 to the third power, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Times 3 would be 24. So the fourth term of this would be 24. But you can see it would be 24. All right. Do the next one. So find the 12th term of the next one. Try it. Try the next one. You should all be able to do the next one. Oh, this is simple. It's dividing, because you can see that this divided by this is the same as this divided by this. So it's geometric. When you divide, it's geometric. When you subtract, it's arithmetic. So we're looking for A12.
A1. So then for the 12, we're going to do 3 to the 3 times 3 times
Yeah, it's true. What's my power? N minus 1. Look, N minus 1. So what's it equal? Is that right? That's what they got in the last class. From there, you just put in your calculator. Your calculator will do it. Did you take 5 times 3 to the 11th, or did you do 15 to the 11th? Is it wrong? Which one is it? Oh. I think somebody just, did anybody tell me 865? I just heard wrong. I could have just heard wrong. I'm just listening to you guys, and I'm trying to do it from memory, but that's probably right. So what you got? You don't even have it? Oh, it's not me. Well, you don't have it? Okay, any questions on that one? Now that we have the right answer. One can what? Oh, yeah, I was going to do that yesterday, and I forgot. Yeah, because there was that log one that we did in 9th period, and it wouldn't calculate the log. I'll try to remember to do it today. I'm going to try. All right, next one. This one's fun. All right, you ready? So here we have A4 is 125. So we have A4 is A1 times R to the what power? 3. Right? 4 minus 1. So A4, we know is 125, so we're going to plug 125 in right there. So we know that 125 is A1 times R cubed. And then we know what other term? So we know A10 is A1 times R to the what power?
So we replace A4 with that, 125?
Yep, and then we're going to replace A10 with 125 over 64.
So elimination.
No, we can't do elimination. This is why. Because this is like, if this is a number, this would be like 5R cubed and 8R to the 9th. Are those like terms? That doesn't help us. Can we do substitution? Mm-hmm. Solve the first one, get A1 by itself. How do we get A1 by itself in that first equation? Can I just divide by R cubed? I'm getting A1 by itself, and then I'm going to substitute that into the second equation. So we have that A1 is equal to 125 over R cubed. We don't. I feel like you're solving for it versus, yeah. So then you take this and plug it in to there. Yes. So we're going to have 125 over 64 equals A1, which is 125 over R cubed, times R to the 9th. Good. So what happens to the R cubed? What happens to 3 of the R's? They cancel, and so how many are left right here? 6. So we have R to the 6. Uh-huh. You can do that too. So we have 6 left. Now how do we get rid of the 125 that's with the R? Because we're trying to get the R by itself. You can divide by it, or since this is a fraction, I like to multiply by the reciprocal, but it's the same thing. Same thing. If you do it on your calculator, and you take this divided by 125, what's going to happen to the 125? They cancel here, and they cancel here. So we get R to the 6 equals what? 1 over 64. How do we get rid of a 6th power? What's the opposite? What undoes a 6th power?
You square it.
Okay, so undo a square, we square root it. To get rid of a 6, we 6. Good. Control exponent, so you do 6 through. A 6 through undoes the 6th power. 6 through. The 6 through. And you do, he said, do control exponent. And then you do 6 through of 1 over 64.
Like that.
It should just look like that. 6 through to 1 over 64.
Or so we do like
Control. You didn't do control. Yep. I'll put a 6 right there. And then put 1 over 64 in there. You get 1/2? How'd you get that? Oh, okay. I'm like, sure, but where do you get the 10 and the 4? Oh, 10 minus 4, 6. Well, how do you know divided by 2? Why wouldn't you divide it by 3 or what? Divide it by 5. All right, so then how do we find the A1? You plug it back into one of your equations. I'm using the first one because I don't want to deal with that fraction. So what's 1/2 cubed? Or 1/8? Mm-hmm. And then we're taking 1/2 and plugging R 1/2 over here. Divide 1/8, which is really just multiplying by 8. So A1 is 1,000. Are we done? Did we answer the question? What are we trying to find?
14.
We're trying to find A14. You didn't quit, did you? You didn't quit, did you? Okay, so A14. By multiplying by 8. What's my power going to be? 13. Yeah, the 1/8 times 8. 1/8 of 8 is 1. So the 1 just goes away. So what is 1,000 times 1/2 to the 13th power? N minus 1. N minus 1. Your power is always your N. Your N is 14 minus 1. Is it? Can you give it to me as a fraction? Uh-huh. Possibly. I haven't looked real close at it. I can imagine there would be a long one on it, just for fun. What do you get? Isn't it 125 over something? That sounds right. Yeah. The key has fractions. I don't want to. Put your fraction first, and then your decimal. As long as you put your fraction too. Because the key always has the fraction.
What about calculators?
Your calculator, do you have a TI-84? Uh-huh. You can, it'll do it. You just hit math, and then it says fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction. Math, and then like 2 or something.
How do you do it for the Inspire?
All right, now we have 5 and 80, and we have to insert 3 again. So we have A1 is 5, and we have A what? 5 is 80. So we can do that A5 is equal to A1 times R to the N minus 1. Thank you. And so what is actually be 5 minus 1? So we know that, is everybody with me there? Are y'all with me? So we're going to have 80 is 5 times r to the 4th. Can we solve that? Divide by 5. This is a 5. And what is that? 16? And how do we do a 4th power? How do we undo a 4th power? 4th root. R2. Are we done? What did it say to do? Did we add 2? Multiply by 2. There you go. So that one was actually easier than the arithmetic one, but then the top one was harder than the arithmetic. Because it's a geometric series, it's multiplication. When you're trying to find your R, it's division. But when you're finding the sequence, you're multiplying. That's it, yeah. Unless you want to go on to 1-4.
No, my brain's overloaded.
Yeah, 9th grade I have it